Welcome, everyone. Simon Rosenberg, Hopium Chronicles, back with another great event. Joining me today is Congresswoman Mikie Sherrill, running for governor in New Jersey, kicking ass, running a great race. We're really glad she's able to spend some time with us today. Welcome, Congresswoman.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Listen, we had you on a few months ago. Our community got behind you in the race. We've raised about $65,000. We got more to do, everybody, right? This is one of the two must-win races for us this November. Can you just give us an update on things? I know new issues have emerged. You've just launched a new ad. I mean, the campaign is we're in the final stretch. Ads are flying, right? We got a real race. Just give us an update and tell us how you think you're doing.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. I have to say, this has been a race like no other in the country. So we have been running hard since last November. That's when I entered this, and it has been a sprint. And we had 6 people in the Democratic primary. Now we're fighting a really tough battle against someone who came within 3 points in the last election cycle against my current governor. And what that means is I've been talking to thousands of people across New Jersey in a way that almost no one else in the nation is doing right now. So it's fascinating because I hear from across the country, they don't know what the messaging is. They don't know what's going on. They don't know where Democratic leadership is. That's not happening in New Jersey. We have so many great leaders here. We are all coming together around supporting the people of New Jersey against these economic attacks from Donald Trump, a $5 billion hit to our state's economy, tariff prices, raising costs on everybody across the state, putting small businesses out of business, and raising energy costs with one big, beautiful bill that's been so harmful here. Also, we see so many people that want to deliver better government for the people of New Jersey, cutting through red tape and permitting, driving down housing costs, driving down utility costs. On day one, I'm declaring a state of emergency on these energy utility costs, which have gone up here by 20% last month. So that is really critical if we are going to make sure families can thrive here in the Garden State. So that's what I'm fighting for. And how's it going? It's exhausting. I ran down to Washington, D.C. last night because, as many people on your show probably know, they were trying to censure a member of my delegation, LaMonica McIver, for simply doing her oversight duties recently. And so I wanted to make sure that failed, which luckily it did. And so I got back about 2 a.m. I was up early because it's my son's first day of school. And even though he's in high school, you still, as a mom, want to be there. So we did that. And then I dropped him off. I screamed out the window that I loved him just to embarrass him.
Yeah. So, that's a no-no. That's a big no-no.
I know, he's trying to be so cool.
I know. You broke the code. You broke the code. Yeah.
It's what we said in the Navy, that which does not kill you makes you stronger. So there he goes. But nevertheless, we're really, really running incredibly hard to get in front of the thousands and thousands of people to make the case about how here in New Jersey, we can do better. We can do better than what we're seeing from Washington, and we can make sure that we're creating success here. And I'll say for all of your viewers who are outside the wonderful Garden State, this is setting the table for what we have to do going forward. The focus we have on costs and accountability and our kids and the pushback against Trump and the chaos and the tariffs and the price and the raising costs everywhere. That, I think, is going to be the key path forward if Democrats are really going to serve people and deliver for the American people. And so this race is setting the table for what we can achieve in 2026 and beyond.
It's interesting the way you've put all that together, because we've interviewed a lot of other candidates who are on the ground running right now. Roy Cooper in North Carolina, and we had your good friend Abigail Spanberger on a few weeks ago, and it is consistent with what you said, that the people who are on the ground running, not the people who are in DC trying to legislate and govern, are hearing from their voters a lot about costs and affordability and price increases and healthcare getting out of reach, and the fear, I think, increasingly as the ACA, premium spikes come, or the fear that are going to come around the ability to afford healthcare. I mean, these very kind of basic things that the Republicans are really on the wrong side of in a really profound way. I mean, you raised this issue. You've had utility costs go up, but they're going to keep going up further, right? Because of the energy policy of this administration. And so I think that my assessment from listening to you is that you're right, that this is sort of where we're going to be, over the next year, because it's where the voters are.
And we have to own that space as Democrats. And that's what this race can do. So as we defeat Trumpism in New Jersey in 2025, this is a really huge opportunity for the Democratic Party. And I'll tell you why, because we've been slipping here. So in other words, my opponent, this is the third time he's running, and he has tied himself so closely to Donald Trump. He said he can think of nothing he disagrees with Trump on. He said that it's his job to support the president. He said that the people of New Jersey have to experience pain for Donald Trump's tariffs. So he has just wedded himself to the Trump agenda and to MAGA Republicanism. And he came within 3 points of my governor in the last time he ran. 3 points. That was completely unforeseen. And then New Jersey slid to the right by 10 points in 2024 in our last election. So this race could reverse that trend, which will be a huge shot across the bow of the MAGA agenda. That will really undermine the work that they are doing to coalesce the support across the country for that agenda. It will show that the people of America are not happy with it. And it'll put wind in the sails of all of our Democratic candidates who will be running next year. Every member of the House of Representatives, a third of the Senate, over 30 governors across the nation. This race can really give them a head start as they go into their cycle next year.
Well, and you just launched a new ad about the utility crisis in New Jersey. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I launched a new ad. I'm a former Navy helicopter pilot, so I went up in a helicopter, which was fun. So I enjoyed. I usually don't enjoy shooting commercials. That one I loved. So we went up just to kind of show that background, and that kind of what we laid out was what we always say in the Navy: find a way or make one. So kind of no more excuses, no more it's too hard or we can't move fast, because I think people, as much as we hate what he's done, people have seen Donald Trump moving fast and really upending different systems. So we have to do that in a way that really supports people, not anyone with the last name Trump, which seems to be how he's moving money. So really fighting hard for people and moving quickly and driving costs down. So the new ad lays out how I'm declaring a state of emergency on utility costs here, freezing rate hikes to support families, having that focus on our families. And it stands in sharp contrast because, as you said, the ads are flying. So this post-Labor Day, we have ballots going out September 20th. So it's right around the corner. And so, as you've said, the ads are flying. So Jack Ciattarelli, my opponent, has his ad up. And it's the same old, right? Like I said, this is the third time he's running. I think he first got into office when I was a sophomore in high school. He's just this kind of, say whatever you want to hear type politician who's now 100% MAGA because that's which way he thinks the wind's blowing, I guess. But always been extreme, always abortion bans, raising taxes, that kind of stuff. So he's got this ad. He's in a diner. Now, I do stuff in diners all the time. I love diners, but I'm a little bit like, okay, sure, because we saw 100 of these, already in this race. So he's there and he's, acting like he's just some, nice guy. He's running around. And he says that he's trying to rerun the 2024 election. So he's saying, Mikie Sherrill's talking about all she wants to do is talk about Trump, and she has her woke agenda, and she's these issues. And it's, I'm watching this and I'm like, the only person talking in their ad right now, and I'm not saying we won't, but the ads we just put out, the only person talking about Trump is Jack Ciattarelli, right? And then this whole woke agenda thing. I mean, I don't know. Nobody in New Jersey wants to attack vulnerable people. So we're happy to protect vulnerable people. We just also have to then focus on running government really, really well to also protect families across the state who are very vulnerable because of Trump. So, his lack of a economic message and his desire to just go into these kind of attacks on, whoever he thinks is the least popular person right now that he can get away with attacking. It's just not what New Jerseyans want to see right now.
Listen, it's one of the reasons they're scrambling around to steal those seats. And Trump is talking about rigging the elections next year. They're rebranding the big ugly bill, right? Is because they can't run on the current agenda that they have. And the same thing is happening, as in Virginia, right? They're running the 2024 playbook. Her, Abigail Spanberger's opponent just dropped a new ad that could have been cut in September of 2024 because 2025 is ugly for them. They've been, we've been beating them in all these specials and these local elections all across the country. And they don't, to your point, they don't have an easy and obvious place to go now, because your opponent is for raising prices on people, and he's for higher utility costs, and he's for worse health care for everybody, and right. And so where do they go on things that are actually attractive to people? And so it sounds like, it's interesting how I think you've hit on something really important, is that this is a reason why that Mike Johnson and all the Washington Republicans are really worried about what's happening in our politics. Trump's numbers are down. They're struggling. We continue to overperform and kick ass. We've got great candidates like you, right? We've had a tremendous cycle of great candidates emerge. And so I think we should be optimistic about what we can do. I mean, what I talk about at Hopium is that our community's goal should be to win the fall. We want to win the fall. We want to win these elections. We want to beat the Republicans in the budget battle that's coming up, and take what we need in that important fight that's coming. Because you're right, we're with the people, and they're with Trump and the oligarchs. And so we're in very strong. I've been feeling this with other candidates we've been interviewing. The Democrats feel strong right now. They feel grounded, in these races, and it's been very reassuring to me, because that's not always been the case when I've been interviewing people, in races over the many years I've been doing this. And so it's great to hear, that you're feeling like, you can get this done.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have to tell you, there's nothing better than when you're running and you know what has to be done to deliver better for families, and your message to people is connecting, because you're hitting on all the right notes. You have identified, after speaking to thousands of people across the state, exactly what it is that you can do to make people's lives better. And then you're running a campaign on it and connecting with people. And that gives you this sense that, and when I get into office, we're going to take these on right away and start delivering. That is that's why so many of us are in public office, right? And you put it so well, because I can guarantee you that Jack Ciattarelli does not have that feeling, because he has nothing to run on. His party is fractured. He's connected himself to Trump. There is nothing he wants to do that is going to connect with families or make their lives better. And so running a really hollow campaign like that is never anything I've wanted to do or done. And so to see him try to do it, I'm so happy to see that it doesn't seem like it's connecting. Now, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, because I want to thank you for all the work you've done to raise money for this campaign. This, as I've laid out, I think is the most important campaign in the nation for how we set the table for next year, just because we have been running so long and have so much connection to people. And I think have narrowed in on that message that is going to be powerful and set the table. But it only matters if we can get the word out. And so we have the most expensive media market in the nation in New York for the top half of our state. And then the bottom half is the third most expensive media market in Philadelphia. So the bar is really high here to get that message out. We saw when we did it, our early polls in the primary were really good. People have sort of slipped back to that generic ballot right now. Now we're back up on air. And the more we can get the word out on what is going on and our agenda and our plan, the better we will do, and the better the Democratic Party will do. So I just want to thank everybody. I'll remind you, my website is mikiesherrill.com. Please go there, even if it's just a couple bucks. All of that helps us get the word out, and I think really helps us drive the message that's going to be very compelling, not just for this year, but for the years to come.
And if people want to volunteer, make phone calls for you, if they live in the region to come canvass, they can also go to that same website, right, and sign up to become part of your campaign.
They can, and I hope they do, because we can use all the help we can get.
Listen, everybody, I'm going to paraphrase something that the Congresswoman said in our last interview, which is that we need to run towards the fight with her and close strong in these final 2 months. And so we need you on board. Please give through the Hopium site, through the Sherrill site, and also volunteer. I mean, as she mentioned, people are open to hearing from us now. This is a great time to be making phone calls and canvassing, because there's an openness to hear from Democrats. And so we need to take advantage of that opening now and be as aggressive as possible with this closing voter contact in the final 2 months. So please help us out. Let's close strong and let's win this thing, and let's win the fall together. Thank you so much, Congresswoman. Good luck with everything. Love the new ad. We'll put it into when we release this tomorrow, we'll put it in there so everybody can see it. It's a good one.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone from the Hopium Chronicles. I just wanted to say Hopium because I love the name. But thank you all so much, and have a great one. I really appreciate it.
Take care. Thanks, everybody.